All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben. Thank you for being here. Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining me today, to this evening, whatever time it is for you, on the channel, the chat, the stream. Gonna do, oh, there's nothing over there. So, good evening, Missy. How are you? I'm going to do some design work tonight, so I'm hoping you're in the mood for some design, studio Lego designing fun for this evening. Need a haircut, obviously. Took the fun lights down behind me because I used them for Beth's birthday party, and I just forgot to put them back up, so I'll try to get them back up before next time because I think it's cool looking. Using a ring light to it's not dead on, but it gives some light without blinding me, but it's just kind of chill and, you know, low-key lighting and everything. So anyway, I'm good, thank you. Had a weird day with a lot of doctor stuff going on. I'll get into that later, but first things first, I am excited to be getting all of my microfighter instructions back up. I was able to go through all the PDFs and all the images and put watermark protection, watermark things on them. It says copyright me and a year, but it says last year, and I'm like, I don't care. As long as it has something. If you go to my Rebrickable page, which there's a link to at the top of the channel, the YouTube page, you'll probably see something like this, and it's got a disclaimer about what's going on, but then it has, see, all the mocks, and I'll give you a little behind the scenes look. These are all the mocks that I have up, and you can see I had to put watermarks on all the images, which I was able to do. I added these, these three today because I was able to get stuff done. I don't want to do them all at once because I think the system might go, what are you doing? But you can see I've got 83 disabled mocks in here. Anything that's red doesn't have a watermarked protection on it. So I've turned them off until I'm able to get them done or get them re-uploaded. So, but there's a few that I want to do sooner than later. I posted a picture of all the microfighters. It was on the Discord channel. I posted on Reddit, and there's a lot of people asking for instructions like they usually do. And I'm like, I can't really link anywhere, but if you go to this site called Rebrickable and look up my username, over the next few days, I'll start putting more out there. So, and that includes all the new ones. I want to do instructions for the new ones too. I think those are coming along great. I pulled them all out so I could figure out which ones needed stands and which ones needed like fun little displays that they sit on, but also printed names so you know which one it is. There's a few that don't have those, and there's a few that don't have fun stands above it, so, or sitting on it. So that's why I laid them all out. But there's a few like right here. These are the newer ones. They don't have anything. So I got to do that. But as I was putting it out, this took like 3 hours. It was kind of ridiculous because you got to open up a Ziploc bag, dump all the pieces out. And at that point, it's a 100-piece set. So if you've got a, 90 times 100, you got a 9,000-piece set. How long is that going to take you to put back together, Anyway, I'm putting them all back now. I'm keeping the ones out that need a stand or whatever. So I'm not convinced. I want to kind of keep the ones that aren't Star Wars a little separate. So I may not make stands for those guys. Most of them are spaceships anyway, so they're in space. A lot of the Star Wars stuff happens on or around a specific planet, so I try to keep the look of that planet. An example would be if you look at like the Geonosian fighter, it's kind of sitting on this reddish orange planet, Geonosis. The Starhawk here, this planet where it was made it's made in an asteroid belt, but the kind of the space around the asteroid belt was this like sunset pink. So I tried to, you know, include where you've seen the ship before. This was a planet that, this is Fennec Shan's ship. I think it actually has a name now. But it was around, I don't remember the planet, but it was like a Camino-like planet. Like Kaminoans lived there first, or they also lived there along with living on Camino. And there was more clone factories here. And you see it in Bad Batch. It's abandoned. There's fog and clouds everywhere. So I tried to do that with most of them. So that's, what's that? So today, and close all this, we're working on the Nebulon B frigate. Hi, MacOps. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm going to be doing Redgate Amber Lager. This is the Manhattan Project Beer Company out of Dallas, Texas. I had a couple of these at Beth's party, and they were very good. The Nebulon B, a lot of people have done this one, and I think I reverse engineered one. So, instructions, microfighters, credit to designs. I think at some point I did a Nebulon B that wasn't mine. Yeah. But this is still really big. So this isn't my model. This is somebody else's model, and I don't remember who it was. There's 4 or 5 people making a lot of these back in the day. And so I reverse engineered it as best I could to what you see here. So this is the reverse engineered version of it, but it's 175 pieces. That's almost as many pieces as this MIDI scale model. And almost as big. Like this model is probably about 2/3 that size. It's very, very not a microfighter. The problem with this ship is it's obviously got a very long fuselage connector here to the drive section, to this front section here with all its cargo and all its bridges and its all that stuff. So it's going to be a challenge, but we're going to start fresh. I also have, which I think will be a better pilot than the Rebel soldier, is this medical droid. Because we do see, the first time we really see this ship is in Empire Strikes Back, and it's got a 2-1B medical droid in it. And he's replacing Luke's hand. So that's what we're going to go for. This one, obviously, you can tell this wasn't mine. It has flick missiles in it. It's still a good, like, it's solid. And I think what we might be able to do is like just reduce some of this. But yeah, we're going to start over. There's also, and I'm not going to, yeah, I guess I'll say that. There's also a couple other Nebulon Bs that I wanted to show you that I've done that are also way too big. 170 parts here. This is the Nebulon C. This is the ship we see in The Last Jedi. This is one of the 3 or 4 ships that are fleeing the First Order fleet. This is one of the first ones that kind of loses fuel and dies off and gets blown up. But again, it's based off the same size as the other one. This is way too big. First of all, it's about 60 to 80 parts too big, and it's just footprint wise, it's probably about that big, which is way too big to be a microfighter. So eventually we'll have to reduce this. Once I have, sorry about my voice. It was final evening until I started doing this. Once I have the Nebulon B going, we can come back and revisit some of these and just kind of make some small changes, because there's a lot of greebling on these. But I think the basic, it's the basic drive section, long thing in between, main kind of bulk of the ship up here. There's also the Nebulon B2, which is more of a Legends ship than anything. I don't think this has been in any canon publications or TV shows or movies. Also, I don't think my chat's working on the screen. Did I miss it? Oh, because I navigated away from it. There we go. Weird. Got to keep that on focus, apparently. So, this shows up in video games and stuff, and I think some comic books. But it's the same thing as the Nebulon B. It's got 2 fuselages now. So basically what I did was I took the other one and I split these bottom panels off, and I just kind of doubled up. The in-universe explanation is instead of a single tube for the Nebulon B, it's now a double tube. But it keeps the same sort of drive section. I thought it was being clever with having these things be upside down. Doesn't really matter. It's way too big. It's 174 parts. So again, once we get the base model done for the Nebulon B, we can come back and revisit these. So first things first, I'm going to try to recreate 2-1B. I don't think I'm going to be able to 100%. But we're going to give it a shot. I don't know which legs he has. If they're the big legs or the little legs. I think these are the super battle droid legs. Yeah. And then we've got a body type that I'm pretty sure isn't in here. Droid torso. It's going to be all these types of things, so I may just have to use that. And we'll make it in... He is a sand blue for the most part. Actually, looks like his legs are dark gray. So how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good almost weekend. Let me know if you get President's Day off. I'm just going to keep this, but I'm going to turn off the filter. And I'm going to color it. It's a sand blue. So we're going to do that. And he doesn't have his head. I don't think is different. Yeah, so like if I did medical droid, he wouldn't be in here. But we can look it up by part type. Hopefully it won't screw up the chat too much. Doing good, work. Oh, you work Monday? That's sorry to hear that. I don't know if he'll have 2-1B. There we go. I think I have, I can't tell which one I've got. I think I have this one. Which is good because it's an $18 one. It's not that one. I think it's this one. It's definitely not this one. That would have been easier to get. Because I think I had that set. I'm not sure. It's definitely not this one. Jawa Sandcrawler. So yeah, I think it's this one. So this, let's see what parts he comes in. 4 parts. Don't think I've got this. But we can look it up. No, okay. Just checking. Droid arm. Don't work Saturday, so yay for that. Good deal. Doing good. Unfortunately, school does give a day for presidents. Doesn't give a day for President's Day. That stinks. Would have thought of all things the school would, the teachers would want. Droid head. This is gonna be hard to make because I don't actually have a head to put on here. So we can do clip plate round. This is gonna have to be good enough. Unless we want to do something, I don't think I can do anything else with that. We'll also make this sand green. There you go. There's your medical droid. The only reason I want to have this out here is so I know how to fit him into the ship, because the legs are a little longer than a minifig's legs and they sit differently. There's nothing for his butt to fit on. So much like the General Grievous ships, of which I think I've done 2, you put a little snot brick or a bracket here, and then they kind of sit on tiles, but they can have their feet on something like that. So let's build around this guy then, shall we? All right. So turn that off. Now we're going to turn our filter back on. Has anybody else been watching Olympics? I've been watching a lot of Olympics. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do a 1x4 tile, specifically because I like hockey. So I've been watching both the men's and women's US and Canadian teams. Mostly rooting for the US team, but if they aren't playing, then I'll root for Canada if Canada's playing. And that's primarily because Team Canada, the men's team, has 3 Colorado Avalanche on it. So, did we discuss this? Which one of these is newer? I think I'm just going to do this one. I don't know. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do that. Like that. Hopefully that's good enough. Okay, so that'll be a seat. Clips of Olympics on the news. There's been a lot of weirdness going on. There's been like one of the biathletes, which is skiing and shooting, like she's pled guilty to stealing somebody's identity or stealing their credit cards. And it was like a teammate. So that was really weird. But they let her out long enough to compete in the games. There was a dog that ran down a ski slope. There was a French skate. So last Olympics, the Summer Olympics, there was big hype because a French high jump person or pole vault person pole vaulted, jumped over the top, and his Frenchman hit the bar and knocked the bar off. And it just went everywhere. Dude was very gifted, and it kind of made the rounds. So this time it was a French downhill skier, and was it the slalom? Giant slalom. It was either just straight downhill or giant slalom, but they're gates, the ones with the gates, and he missed a gate, and it basically kind of like he caught it with a ski first, but then it whipped back and hit him right in the crotch. And those gates, it went how fast you're going, can really hurt. They can break knuckles in your hands if you're not careful. And you can hear him scream and just stop and bend over. So I'm like, ooh. First black woman on a hockey team to score an Olympic goal, so that's big. First time there was mixed luge, so doubles luge, and it was mixed teams. And first time women were allowed in doubles luge. I think doubles luge is really weird. Hey, Vab, how's it going? The 4-man bobsled. I think that was like practice or something. I don't think it was part of the games, but yeah, still hilarious. Okay, that piece is too big. So let's go back up to these smaller pieces. I'm going to try to get one of these front pieces here. That's probably too big. I think I'm going to go even smaller because I really do want to get smaller on this. So something like that. We really want to crank down the size on this. And then we can put stuff up here like clip. Oh, we can put it underneath there. Plate, clip. I'm trying to think of the other weirdness that's happened. It's always the French, but there was a controversy with the French judges in the ice dancing competitions. Like the French judge gave inordinately high marks to the French team, despite them not being as good. I did hear about Joe Minnow from Brick Journal. That's very sad. Our hearts go out to him, and well, to his family. I never met him, but he was kind of a staple at conventions and stuff like that. So that is a tragedy. All right, so this is just kind of placeholdery stuff. I don't want to get too into the weeds with this, but we'll do, because I still want to do the pipes and the back stuff here. And I'm not really sure how to do that, but I don't want to make them very long. Like the maximum I want to get is like to here. So this is going to be very small. I'm still okay with doing like Technic connectors. I think that would probably work the best. And I think it would just look better. So we can put a Technic beam in here or a Technic axle with a couple of these. We can do like one of them and one of them, so it differentiates it a little bit, right? And I think we can go one of these. You can't go all the way through because they're connectors. They aren't meant to. That you can go all the way through. This you can't. What about this one? That one you can't go all the way through either. Okay. How about this one? This one might be better because it's one piece. And does it come in gray? Yeah, that's really sad. There's better a run of famous deaths lately, and it's weird that one hits you from the world of Lego. So yeah. If you haven't had a chance to read any brick journals, maybe now would be a good time to go pick one up. All right, so it's going to be complicated because I do want to put a little behind him here. So maybe we'll Technic brick. Gonna go go all the way through with that? No. So this one's going to be a Technic brick here. And we'll need a 2-axle. Axle 2L. One of these guys. I don't care if it's black or red. Maybe black. Just in case. It should go all the way in there, right? Yes. Okay, and 2x2 plates. So yeah, the idea is then the spine kind of lines up with the front of the ship a little bit. 2x2 plate modified. I don't think there's a angled plate. Two wedge plates. That's too big, I think. This would be the perfect size if this giant thing wasn't in the way here. Plus, I don't... That's kind of an expensive part. I don't know what this... I've always looked at this piece and been in awe about it and been like, this is a great piece. And not really known what this block is for. Doesn't come in many sets. And I don't think I'm going to find out what its use is in any of these. Oh, it's in Voltron. Huh. Interesting. Lego wise, well, we got the otter coming out. The otter looks really cute. We've got the Monet water lilies under the bridge thing that I probably do want to get. So that looks pretty cool. They just announced today the Maersk, another Maersk shipping barge, big tanker ship or a big cargo ship. Looks cool. The containers themselves look a little repetitive. But I mean, it's got that nice Maersk blue in it again. So definitely need to schedule a haircut. And then the Pokemon stuff comes out in about 2 weeks. So I'm going to try to get down to the mall where our store is and be around to hand flyers to people. Rail. Nope, needs to be more smooth than that. Let's get rid of this for a second. Two by 4 plates. The Model T's coming out. Model T looks pretty cool. I'm going to put this on the tubes. Actually, yeah. That on the tubes. And then I'm going to do wedge. See if we can get some small wedges. What's up, Greg? Just completed a perfect playthrough of the Mass Effect trilogy. Outstanding. Ooh, those are cool. So let's look at the actual ship here, instead of somebody else's Lego model. So this is, that's ArtStation. So this is still like a design choice. Okay, so this is the actual ship from the movie. We can kind of do whatever we want here, but that is flattened back here. So we can, I have an idea. No, nothing new with me really. I spent a lot of time, I went to my cardiologist and am starting blood pressure medicine. So that's fun because I'm old. This is 270, so 3315. And I went today to get labs. It's just a whole rigmarole with getting lab work done. It was not an enjoyable experience. Not like it's ever meant to be, but okay, that's too big. I did like the wedges though, but I don't know if I can get them to be flat enough. What else is going on? Started listening to The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, Douglas Adams. I realized I haven't read it before. I finished The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett, and it was not as great as I was expecting. So that doesn't give me anything up here to work with either, so that's a little too big. But I also heard that it's his first of the Discworld books, so don't go into it thinking it's a masterpiece. And I'm like, well, I don't even know what happened in the book. Like half of it was just all over the place. So, let's see. Let's build down a little bit. So let's get rid of this and build down. There's a lot of greebling on this, a lot of containers, but I don't want to get too carried away with it. So we'll probably just end up doing like a stack of what might be easiest is to do 1 by 1. I can't call it snot. Mod brick like this. Oh, we have these new ones now. They don't come in that color though. What color do they come in? Black. Black should be good. So if I were to put this under here with, kind of goes under him, right? Just a 2x2 plate. And then we can do all kinds of fun stuff along the sides and in the back. This is flat back here, but I just want to do like a handful of things, not a ton. So maybe one more brick modified, and we'll do one that's all the way around. Because then we can do wedge plate. We can do a 3 wedge plate. We can do a 3 wedge plate. have it not be too crazy. And then we'll do one plate. We'll do a round plate round. And I think there's new 1x3s here. That'll fit. That'll be great. And it'll look nice. And then we'll do, what does the actual ship look like? It's got this big thing right here. Is this Art Station? So we'll do one big one of those. Actually, let's make it simpler and do a rounded brick. Don't want to be too crazy. And we'll do dark bluish gray. And we'll just do that up here. Again, we're trying to give it an impression of something. And this can be a round tile with this. Oh, I didn't see what color this needed to be. Oh, it can be gray. This is a newish piece, this rounded 1x3 plate. I don't have any yet, so is it a dumbbell or is it a barbell? That's not it either. Wheels. Bar. It was there's something like a lightsaber handle, but it's not a handle, but it's called something else. I could probably just use one of these and be good with it. Like I said, don't want to get too carried away. I still want to use a gray. We'll do minifig head. Will that fit? Not until I put something else in front of it. Plate round. Now will it fit? Oh, it's because it's bumping into that. Okay. So, ordered, what else is going on? Ordered some more parts for the Q2 Stadium. I'm a little down on the Q2 Stadium, and I'll tell you why. We just got an announcement that the stadium itself was no longer going to be selling craft beer. Austin Brewery craft beer. They were going to focus, they had some big corporate alignment thing that they were doing a cooperative partnership or something with, which means all the ones that are there now, they're not going to do anymore. And a couple people found this out by showing up with their delivery. And the people saying, sorry, we're not doing that anymore. So it's kind of a slap in the face a little bit. I'm going to do a claw or a tooth. Do a tooth on one side, and then I'm going to do an ingot on the other. So it's kind of a jerky move, what they did. Actually, I'll just do a tile. Actually, I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to try to not do too much stuff, like I said. Okay, that's good. I'm going to change these to round empties. So now when I'm looking at finishing the stadium, I'm kind of like, well, I don't know that I really want to now. Because of how, you know, the group has been treating the fans and now the community, and it's like, I pardon my French, it's the shitification of all things. Don't remember if that was a Scalzi reference or who was the other guy, the other writer. Anyway. All right, so this is going to be, I already know I want to do a tile up here, round tile. Put this up here like that. And then we'll do slope. We'll do our regular trans brown slope. Like that. Got to figure out this underside here. Mm-hmm. So the next, I have figured out what I'm going to do with this guy. I had an extra scout pilot, and I think I might build, because I already have a scout walker. I have a regular scout walker microfighter. There's something called an ATAC, but there's also an ATMC. You see it briefly in Bad Batch. And it looks like a scout walker, but the top of it has what looks like a pillbox with 2 guns sticking out of the side of it. And it's supposed to be like urban pacification, like they'll put them in cities. So my guess is the ATST is too powerful or too unwieldy to be in a city. But these are maybe a little smaller and have just enough weaponry to kind of... It's also, it looks like, because it's the Bad Batch and it's not quite Empire Strikes Back, or it's not quite the Empire yet. It's still transitioning. So we've gone from AT-RTs, the little walkers, to AT-DPs in Clone Wars, the really big ones, defense platform ones with the big guns. There's another one called an AT-AC, which is basically a big artillery cannon on a very small set of legs. They did have 2-legged walkers in the Clone Wars. I gotta remember all these ones. They had like a 3rd foot, so they had like a regular, like short range cannon, and then they put down this 3rd foot to brace, and it had a really large artillery cannon, so it would fire. But this was it was a very small, the head wasn't as like angular with like the 2 openings that looked like eyes. It was just like this kind of box. It almost looked like the back of the shell walker from Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Just like this hexagonal shape pointing out. So I think I'm going to do that for this guy. And then I'm going to redo this shuttle pilot guy, this transport, because I did have that as somebody else's, and I kind of want to take my own crack at it. But I've also looked at it recently, so I'm going to inadvertently use some of their techniques. I also have an old Anakin that I want to do a Jedi starship, Jedi starfighter. And I haven't really looked at anybody else's lately, so hopefully I'll be able to like kind of work on that on my own without being influenced. So I think for this, I'm just gonna there's these skinny-ish wedge plates that are kind of new, and I want to try them out. And then on the front of these, I'll put I don't think this is going to work as well. Yeah, that's not going to work as well. I want to keep those, though. What are those wedge plates? Those were cool. I want to keep this size, but I want to be able to angle them a little bit. Problem is, most hinges are so bulky that in order to make them work, you're just adding to the bulk of the ship. I did use this technique once on the... There was an Imperial like patrol drop craft, and this worked okay. But again, I don't want it to be too big. If I figure out how to attach it like that. It's going to be a bar and clip affair, and I just don't know how to do it. Oh, yeah, I do. Hang on. So we get a 1x2 bar. Oh, that'll only do one of them. Experimentation. And then the inverted 1x1 round clip. Nope. 1x1 round clip. Nope. Round bar. This guy. Don't know if them being this close together is going to work, but we raise this guy up X amount of degrees and this guy down X amount of degrees. Don't think it'll work, but the cool thing about this is there is... Can I lower that anymore? The bad thing is these clips only have a certain amount of give, and that's it right there. If we do a 1x2 clip, and then move this guy up here. There we go. And there it is offset a little bit. Like you can kind of do whatever you want. And in fact, if I were to do this guy but inverted, let's move this guy out. Oh. Then I'd have room up here to do like a cheese slope. And then over here, so we'll just copy and mirror. Oh, man. Copy and mirror, and then move them out of the way. Yeah, so it's mostly been watching the Olympics. God, is that too far out from the sides? But then what I was going to do is then you could put in binoculars. This way. And do bar 2L. That might be too big. I may be getting too fancy for my own good. I think this could be handled with wedge plates or with wedge slopes, and just be done with it. So this is what, a 2x3, 4x2, 4x2 wedge. They just seem so chunky. And it really doesn't give you that, like, feel that it's been part of the universe kind of thing. Like, I mean, that works just as well. You know, but it doesn't have that kind of... Oh, I also forgot that there was Imperial versions of this with a hanger and stuff. What else is going on? Lots of political stuff, and I'm not going to talk about it. Just looking at Discord, see if there's any more news, Lego news stuff that I'm forgetting about. Maersk. Oh, the really nice duck with duckling set that you can only get as a GWP. I'm really mad about that. There's some giveaways for different countries, not the US. The otter, which is cute because it's got a little baby otter on its stomach. The Model T. Bridge over a pond of water lilies, Monet. We already talked about that. There was a mention. Oh, there's a speed racer. A new Batmobile. It's the Robert Pattinson Batmobile. Looks like minifig scale. There's the Hail Mary, the ship from Project Hail Mary, which doesn't look like the book at all. So it must look like whatever's in the movie. Lego also coming up with a K-pop Demon Hunters line. So that's cool, I guess. All right, I'm going to replace this side with wedges, and I'll see if I like it. because then we can get rid of a piece count at least. I can do... So yeah, a lot of news coming out about stuff. And the K-pop Demon Hunters I'm all right with. Like, I think it'll be cool. If I stagger it, it'd probably look okay. That doesn't look too bad. I can't put that on there though. I can do a clip. I don't know what K-pop Demon Hunters would do. Like, I have a feeling it'd be a Friends line of sets. All right, I'm going to save. I'm going to pull this section off so I have it to remember. But then I'm going to try this as a whole. Just to see what it looks like. I think it'll be a Friends line of sets. Just because I think a Friends mini doll would look better with the characters, the Huntrix characters. All right, let's solid this up here. It's too low. Curve slope. Forgot these parts existed. Slope, wedge. The math on these wedges and these things are infuriating sometimes. That'd be perfect. It's like, nope, you got to put an extra plate in there. And then it's lost all semblance of looking right. I almost wish I could just turn this upside down. But I don't know how to attach that. Yeah, see, that's what I want. While I'm letting my brain worry about this, let's go over here and put a couple things on. Modified plates. An ingot. I don't know what ingot lives under. Is it a tile? Minifigure utensil. Round plate. What does the actual one look like? Keep looking over at the toy here. Doesn't look like that. So we're gonna do and then another one of these. And that'll be good. Okay. Again, don't want to get too carried away. How many pieces are we at right now? 49. Doing good. So we'll need another connection point here. And another brick. And this should be pretty easy to knock out. It's just drive section, but I know I've run into problems with this before. Let's do a bracket. Skate. What does that fit on? Travis brick. This is a specific color of skate, flat silver. I'm almost out of storage, says Google Drive. Let's see. Still going to put that piece on there. There's a slope grill. I wish we could call things cheese graters. That's too much. It's too big. Oh, maybe not. We could slide that up a little bit. So we think we might have a new event coming up in May that we can take part in the the new program that is kind of being tested with the LAN. So we'll have to see if it works. This is a round plate. I don't know if it's gonna mean much for the long run of the group, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, how many pieces is this? 80. Okay, we're getting to the threshold. So now it's time to start locking it down, because I think this is a better size than... Oh, I haven't saved this at all. So let's rename Nebulon B. We'll rename this to old. And we're going to save this as Nebulon B. So then we can compare sizes. This is much more manageable as a microfighter. You can just see how massive this was. This would not have worked really well. It was on the larger end of any of the models that I'd already had. This has got some fiddly bits on it. I don't know how I'm gonna really do that. We'll put there's a new part. This guy, but I don't think he comes in anything really useful. Yeah, he's just lights. There's this guy. He's kind of big. Looks like it's got a little bit of a thing back here and some stuff. So we can probably to this guy. And another ingot. And yeah, that's good. Again, don't want to get too crazy. Okay, as much as I don't like these giant wedges here, I think it works well with the ship. I don't know why I kept this in here. So let's get rid of that because that's a lot of pieces. I also found a neat trick. Oh, I haven't finished the front yet. So there's a thing that for like really big models, let's say you move over here and you know you're working on a bunch of other stuff and you want to come over here, but you notice that the, like when you rotate, it rotates on the axis that was over here, right? You can tell it's rotating on an axis that's over here. I used to do right click and then pan to cursor and it would fix it on that spot, but there's a shortcut key for it. So if you're working over here, you notice the rotating is kind of funny. If you hit F, it'll focus to wherever you currently are. So that's a little helpful. It's a few less clicks. Yeah. Doop, doop, doop. Okay. So I got to figure out this front end. I kind of was hoping it would be a simple single piece. That I could just like, that's too big, but like kind of like that, but small. I wonder if there's like a flattened cone. Doesn't look like it. Again, this would be a great opportunity for Lego to have the ability to flip something over. How does this do it? I'm gonna take this apart real quick. Aha! That's how they do it. They cheated. So this is mostly done with snot bricks so that the underside of this, I think a lot of this is built like that. Interesting. So that's how they did it. So I probably could do something similar. Don't know why I didn't think of that, but if we wanted these two things together. Problem is those Travis bricks are pretty big. So even if I just had two, like a two-sided one, I wouldn't be able to attach them without putting a round plate back there. So this Sunday, I will be joined by my eldest child. They wanted to join me on stream. So we'll probably spend the morning building small sets. I think it'll be kind of fun. So we'll see how that goes. plates. They've never been on with me before. Obviously, Beth has been on a bunch. My son has been on, but my oldest has not. So this will be kind of cool. I don't know what they're going to want to talk about, if anything. They just may want to chill. That doesn't conflict. And I'm a little worried about that. Why that doesn't conflict. It should. There's a whole lot of like stuff in there. Mod brick. Now we're just playing math games with Lego bricks. Because I don't know what else to do at this point to get this shape that I want. Plates. Mod brick. 1x2 mod brick. This is a newish piece that I've used a few times. Ugh, that looks absolutely disgusting. And nothing like the ship. I'm looking at this right? Where is music stream? Interesting. Wonder why it's empty. It doesn't matter. Just wanted to verify that I actually had more than 2 hours worth of music that it keeps thinking I don't have. All right, so this is basically what it's doing on a smaller scale. I don't know if this will help. It kind of works a little better, but it won't fit down there. I'm going to start looking for random inspiration in some interesting areas. I mean, I wish that came in a right color. What a weird thing. What a weird helmet. Let's see what is only available in light gray. Lock up the software. Make sure to save before I lock up the software. Okay, there we go. I mean, that's not bad. And then I could put these guys back on there. It's not great, but it's not bad. That helmet's pretty pricey, though. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. It does kind of look like a dude's head on the front of a ship, but I mean... All right, headgear. See if there's anything else. And now these are all parts that should be in this color. We don't like that one. No, that one definitely looks like a helmet on a thing. Yeah, if I could get that face covered somehow, it wouldn't be too bad. The problem is it's not that it doesn't look okay. It's that this is kind of a smooth or a snub-nosed but heavily detailed front end on this thing. Some people even have, you know, I suppose I could extend it out a little bit. I realize I'm not being real chatty right now, and I apologize. I feel like I'm kind of in a fugue state. I'm using these pieces a lot, so I'm just going to keep using them. Because I think we're almost there. Like, I feel it coming together. It's just a 2x4 plate. You ever get that when you're building where you're chugging along and something? Nope, that's instantly lost it. And you're like, yeah, this is good. Can we do those in that color? And then we'll do a tile. God, that is not bad. All right. Which one looks better? The Imperial Stormtrooper helmet. This is a Mumbaran color Stormtrooper helmet, or the Castle helmet. Honestly, I think the Castle helmet, maybe. How many pieces is that? 92. Perfect. And I honestly think I have a Castle helmet. I would have to buy this one. I think it has everything it needs. I don't know. What do you think for a microfighter for this ship? How's that looking? The one thing it doesn't have is a really long thing back here, but that can be fixed. Like if we wanted to, honestly, Technic connector. We could make it a little longer. And not sacrifice too much. Yeah, that's it. That's what did it. That's what made it. I think that's pretty good. There's a lot of doodaddy stuff in here that, like, this could be that color, and I think that could be that color. And I think I could probably put another little thing under here. Can we put this guy under here somehow with a round plate? Like that. What are the cheapest colors for that? Not red. How about, does it come in flat silver? There we go. Cool. Yeah, that's it. This bottom could be a little longer, but this is where I ran into problems last time. I was like, well, it doesn't look quite right. The bottom could be a little longer, blah, 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 right? But I think It's got all the things it needs. It's got a lot of little bits right here. One kind of long bit back here. It's got an antenna right there. It's got angled fuselage around it. It's got a kind of a conning tower, maybe another observation tower here and here. Oops. It's got these weird solar heat sink somethings right there. It's got the shape of the engines. I don't know if we can see the engines, but it's got the right engine shape. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. Let's call that done. Now the question is, let's look through it and see, other than the figure, pull the figure out because I'm not going to need him. I'm going to need that. All right, I'm going to kind of quickly go through this and see what parts I probably have and probably need. So like ice skates I probably need. I could probably ape them from a Christmas set. I think I've got some ice skaters. I had ice skaters. It was the gift with purchase set that had you'd like spin the side of it and the ice skaters go around. And it had two skaters. It had two skates per skater, but then it also had a box that came with extra skates. But now the box I have doesn't have extra skates, so I lost those somewhere. Again, they're probably in this house, but so I'll have to get those. I don't think I have many gray ingots left, so I'll have to check on those. Those could always be turned into a more metallic color like that. I don't think that looks as good. Flat silver might look okay, but I can change that up to just kind of depends on what I've got at the moment. Let's leave them as gray for now. Honestly, some of these more ubiquitous things like brackets, I probably will have the hardest time finding. These wedges, I may not have these. I used them for a lot of stuff, and I'd be surprised if I had two matching pairs. The connectors I'm not worried about. I think I have those. All these like 1x2 round plates, I've got plenty of those. I may have a helmet. I may or may not have a helmet. Travis bricks. This is a new piece in here. But I think I can get away with not having this specific piece. Because I think I can stack them in such a way that I can use other Travis bricks in the interim. But I don't mind trying to order this piece as a good new piece to use. Get back in there. And I think it only comes in a handful of colors. And honestly, I think I ordered some of these from Lug Bulk. I didn't say Lug Bulk. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, pretty good. All right. We only got about 20 minutes left, so looking ahead, I will probably be building for Thursday. Rowan, the oldest, has said that they actually have sets or something they'd want to build, but I've got these two sets that I could build, and we'll probably just split the table. Cozy up. In terms of designing stuff, I hang on real quick. I didn't really post this because I also took my build camera down. So this is going to be awkward for a hot second. See if we can get this to work without it. Nope. Okay. We tried. Build camera, if it'll even turn on, it won't. What did I have to unplug? I may have unplugged it. Nope, should be plugged in. Kind of wanted to show you the other microfighter. So I'm going to do that twice. There we go. Cool. I guess that worked. All right. Ignore the paperwork on the table. I've been doing some other stuff. But I was able to get... I want to finish the stand for it, but I got this guy done. I'm waiting on a couple of pieces. Those red pieces don't need to be there. And I want the yellow bulbs in the middle of that. Those bulb pieces for the center of the... Does this not focus now? Oh, there we go. Instead of the trans orange pieces to be those yellow pieces in the center. But those center 3 or 6 wide with the, like, it's got the rings on the sides, but also like the anti-stud pieces, those came in clutch. I had a whole bag of these and I was really worried that the whole thing wasn't going to work until I got those. I had to make a concession, and for the connector in the middle, I had to use those bricks because I didn't have enough of these pieces, these round pieces with the holes in them. And I thought this looks just as good. And then I could have fewer pieces in the middle there. So I think overall it looked okay. It looks pretty good. I was able to find an Anakin. So I'm pretty happy with that. And those are, I'm going to put some more ground stuff, but this is like the Boonta Eve race. Those are one of the tunnels that he goes through, and I'll put some rocks and stuff on it. But yeah, I think that turned out well. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be probably coming up with some sort of game with all these guys for Brick Rodeo. If you have any ideas on how to run a good... I think I effed myself in the B by getting rid of something. I needed... That's what I got rid of something and I needed it. All right, so the last couple minutes we're going to fix this because I needed something to hold his feet in there. And I think I got rid of it. Whoopsie. So I had a modified plate. It was a 2x2 mod plate that had the bits off the sides of it like this. And let's get him grouped, and he attaches here. And then I need to figure out how he went in here. I think it was under here. So I'm wondering if I can't use a bracket. Oh, you know what I can use? All right, so this is easy enough fix. To get rid of that. Get rid of these. And I think I can do... Which kind of sucks because I was kind of hoping to keep those. We got those 1 by 1 round, these guys. And I think they come in light bluish gray. Perfect. Not too awkward. So those should still work for him. Brilliant. And it adds a little texture to the side. So get rid of that. I still want something right here. But maybe that's okay not to have. Yeah. Trying to see if there's anything I can do to get more stuff in there, but I think that's okay. Fewer pieces the better. 88 total parts. I think we're good. Okay. That's another one that I'm going to have to get. I don't have any of these in this color. The only ones I have are black, and I don't have that many of them. I really didn't think they'd only come in black, light gray, and white. It looks like they come in a handful of other colors too. Now, there's also discussion about this isn't a wholly gray ship. There's bits like the cargo containers and other pods in here are different components, and so they can be different colors. So looking at something like this, there's, you know, all kinds of colors on here. This one's really great. And if you want to, as your own model, you can change, you know, change colors. Like we can make this dark tan, or even yellow, or even tan. Change one of these plates back here to green, you know, something like that. So it's pretty customizable. Like if you want to make your own changes to it. Looks like there's a red stripe on top. Is that a... That's in a couple other ones too. I think that indicates it's a medical frigate. That's weird looking. I don't like that. That's a Lego one. Don't like the way that looks. That's a pretty good model right there. I don't think I can make any of this be red. But like this plate could be red. That wouldn't be too bad. Or these plates could be red to give it kind of a stripe. So yeah, you can play with it a little bit if you've got... There's a stripe there, stripe there. These are all everybody's interpretations of it too. These are model makers. These are people making their own stuff. This is obviously a Lego version of it. I'm trying to go off of like in-screen stuff. This is the actual MIDI scale version. So here's the trick, is now there's an E.C. Henry version of this ship that is the Imperial version of the Nebulon frigate. So yeah, I don't think I'll do that, but maybe this one. That one being red wasn't too bad. That's not too bad. The E.C. Henry version, the Imperial version, so the idea was this isn't canon, but the reason it looks like this, the reason it feels like a stripped down version of a ship is because it is. And you can kind of see in all these images where a lot of like the stripped down nature of it comes from. So like these side panels, these engine panels, some of this remainder of stuff, this was all where the Imperial part of the ship lived. And it was a more robust ship, which made E.C. Henry kind of come up with this, which is the Imperial whatever frigate. And it, like, if you don't subscribe to his channel and you really like Star Wars ships, highly recommend. He does a lot of, I found this as a secondary ship in the background, and he gives it an entire backstory, and there's great animation and great rendering. So this is one of the things he built, was the Imperial Nebulon B frigate. And it has a whole backstory to it, but you can kind of see like this part right here still remains, some of this paneling, right? But it becomes more, you can kind of see how this all gets removed and it's really stripped down. And it's got kind of an Imperial, like it's got two conning towers or maybe shield generators back here. The Imperial solar panel, heat sink or solar generators, whatever. But it's pretty cool. So given we have this model now, all we'd have to do is like extend a lot of this stuff, you know, get rid of the greebly parts of it and make it a little more robust. I think it would be a fun project. He has a lot of great ships. I don't know if I'm just going to be able to find him by putting his name in, but like, you know, random stuff that you saw in the background of the show, of the movies, right? Or little known, like this is a Howl Runner, or no, I-9 airspeeder. Oh, V-wing airspeeder. It says right there. But he'll give him like, he'll flesh him out and give him really good backstories. This was the Colin Cantwell X-wing concept. He fleshed that out. So I do have a list of ships that I'd like to make Lego versions out of his ships. If this looks familiar, this is reaching the end of my vocal limit here. Before Rise of Skywalker, when we saw Rise of Skywalker, TIE something. These guys, TIE Dagger. So the TIE Dagger was a ship we saw in Rise of Skywalker, right? And I think we may have seen them, I think retroactively in like, not Rebels, but something like that. Anyway, it wouldn't have been Rebels. It would have been much later. Well, no, it would have been Rebels because it was between original trilogy and sequel trilogy. Anyway, Lego made a set of this. It's basically, they called it the TIE Dorito because this is a triangular shaped wing. And it doesn't look bad. Like from the front, it looks pretty cool. From right here, it looks pretty cool. I don't like the way they've done the back. Like how it kind of just starts and stops. Like if the wing was more attached in the middle, I think that would be a lot better. But the funny part is E.C. Henry made this, and see how it's attached more in the middle? He had made this like years before Rise of Skywalker. And there was a whole, like, he talked about it on his channel, and he's like, you know, sometimes it just happens where people come up with the same ideas. I can't imagine that they've seen my channel and are doing anything like that. And nobody's like approached me, and I wrote them and commented on a little bit, but it was kind of sad because he's a really good ship designer on the stuff that he doesn't like look at on his own and kind of turn it into something. He has come up with a bunch of like stuff that's his own, and it's really, really good. So, he does have a TikTok as well, but if you go to his YouTube channel, he's also got his own website where he does, he displays a lot of his stuff. He's got a section on ArtStation that's really good, so check him out. Okay, well, that's it for me. I'll be back on Sunday then to do some building with the child, the oldest, and we'll go from there. So I hope you guys have a good weekend. If you do have this weekend, if you have Monday off, I hope you have a good, nice long weekend. If not, I hope you have a good regular weekend. And we'll talk to you soon. I hope you guys have a good one.